Invincible! Season 3! Thank God it came as quick as it did. I did not want to wait another 2 years for this show. And what is this? A new suit? The black and blue suit? Good heavens, they spoil us! It's a funny thing. I've actually already made Invincible back when Season 1 came out. But then I remade him again when Season 2 came out because I got better at sewing. And now, looking at it, I kind of miss my Season 1 Invincible. He just looks so small and cute and nice. Anyway, those were both before I started doing weekly content, so I didn't even think I was gonna make this video. So you are not getting the body tutorial. Figure it out yourself. Nah, I'm just kidding. Let's get into it. Now, despite already saying I made a body, I'm gonna make another one. I've actually made 2 bodies. 3 now. This is because my friend offered to pay me money, which I really like, for one of these Invincibles. So, I'm gonna make one for him. Then that's gonna be this one. I tried my best to replicate the body I have, but I think I probably screwed up a fair bit on it. If I can recommend anything, don't make him as pale as I am. I did that because it's the only color I had back then when I made him originally. Same with my Omni-Man. Make him out of the same color as I made Eve. It just looks better and it's more accurate to how the show looks. Or just do him whatever color you'd like. I don't care. I start by sewing the torso. I sew 4 sides, leaving the bottom open. This is so I can stuff it. Then I sew it up. I move lower to the legs. I sew around 3 sides of the leg in a U shape. Then stuff the legs. I sew them to the body. Next is the arms. I sew the arms in a U shape, like the legs. Then I stuff those and sew them to the body, connecting at the shoulder, where an arm would be. You know that. Since Mark is muscular, I have these 5 pieces. I sew the pecs on, and then add the lower muscles here. Now I can work on the head. First, I cut out these 2 pieces, then sew the triangles together. Next, I put the eyes in. Then, using black thread, I make the mouth. Then I sew the pieces together. Now I stuff it. With the base of the head done, I make the eyebrows. It's as simple as cutting them out and sewing them on. With it done, I move up to the hair. Now this hairstyle is more complicated than my typical one. I used a softer, more velvety material for the hair on the top part. But I couldn't find it, nor am I sure I have it anymore. So I just used this black felt instead. It achieves the same effect. I firstly start by cutting out these 3 pieces. Then I sew them together. I add a little arrow piece on the back for the hair to stay up. To finish off the hair, I cut out this large piece that will wrap around the sides of the head and sew it on. With that attached, I sew the head to the body, and that's it. Now I move on to the costume. For the costume, I need a reference image. Luckily I have this, and only this. It's all I need. Luckily, because this is animation, I don't really need to try as hard with detailing, and the costume is kept pretty simple. Something else just wonderful is that I get to do this whole suit as pretty much one layer. I start off like usual with the pants. This is just 2 blue cutouts for the legs. I'll sew each leg individually, then sew them together at the crotch. Next is the boots. I cut out these 2 rectangular pieces and sew them at the back. I flip them and put them on the feet. Then I sew the pants to the boots and flip up the pants to the legs. I move up to the torso. I cut out the front chest piece. Then I cut it into 3 pieces and replace the middle piece with black. Then I sew it back together. Then I cut out the piece that wraps around his back and the back of the mask. I sew the back of the mask to the back of the costume, then sew the back together where it connects in the front. Then I sew the chest piece to the back piece. Once that's all made, I put it on the body and connect them at the waist. Once it's sewn on, I flip it up the body so it all looks nice. Next, I cut out the blue part wrapping around the wrist area. Then, right below, I cut out the fingers and palm piece. I sew the side, then sew it to the wrist. Once sewn, I slide it over the hand like peeling back your foreskin. I cut out the sleeve piece and sew the sides together. Then sew it to the glove and fold it up. Then I connect the sleeves to the rest of the costume. Now because Invincible's mask is stupid and impossible, I'm just going to do it this way. Like seriously, how does his mask exist? Like in the state that it does. It is so pressed down to his chest, yet like he pulls it off. Like that's impossible. There's no Velcro, there's no buttons, there's nothing there to show. If you can find like a reason that makes sense on why it would stick down, then I'm all ears. But like, this mask makes no sense at all. It's a cool design, makes no sense at all. I cut out the mask into 2 pieces. I do this out of pure hate for myself. Then I sew the neck parts together. Then I sew the face part to the rest of the mask. I put the mask on the head. I cut out the lens goggle things and sew them in. Then I cut out the ears and sew them to the mask. Finally, I cut out the soles because I forgot to do it earlier and sew them to the boots. That's it. Invincible's new black and blue suit. I've got this reference image of a character sheet for Atom Eve that I can use. Luckily, because it's animated, her costume is skin tight and she might as well be naked. Why is she like low-key bad though? Like, why do I low-key want to whip out my penis and just like start stroking it? Anyway, here's the cutout for the body. These are most of the pieces you'll need. It's sewn the exact same way as Invincible. But we're not done yet, because this is a woman. My first woman I've ever made on this channel. And what do women have? Personalities! Beautiful, wonderful personalities. For tits and ass, they're pretty much the same size. All you need to do is cut out these 4 pieces. Then sew the triangles and put them on the areas where the tits and ass are. I know you know where that is. Then stuff it. You can make these whatever size you want, if you're a gooner. Speaking of gooners, have you guys seen how she was drawn in the original comics? Like, I mean, damn, look how any woman was drawn. I like Ryan Otley's art, but holy moly. Women do not look like that. At least not any I've met. All that's left for Eve is her head. First, cut out the 2 sides of the head. Then sew the triangles. Then you can make the facial details. First, start out with the eyes. Like Mark, you can do whatever you'd like. I'm just doing buttons. Next is the mouth. I cut out these lips out of felt and then use black thread to stitch it to the face. Next is the eyebrows. I use a thicker felt, so it's kind of annoying, but all you're going to need to do is cut out the shape. Then sew it above the eyes. Now I can sew both sides together. Then stuff the head and close it up. I use a Sharpie to draw on the eyeliner. I cut out the back piece of the hair, then use it as a template to cut out the front of the hair. These are the main cutouts for the hair. I sew the top 2 together, and then the back triangle together. Then I sew it to the head. When the base of the hair is attached, you can finally add the extra details. First is this weird cut for the main hair detail. Sew this on so it drapes across the back of her head, then flip it to the front and sew it to the back of the hair. Then sew this skinnier piece to the head, the same way. This is a longer piece with a cut in it, so it can be draped over the shoulder. That's it for the body. Now onto the costume. I start with the cutout for the shorts. I fold it and sew it. Then I sew the legs together at the crotch. Then I put it on the body. I cut out these 2 pieces for the shirt. Then I line the front up with the pants so it fits well when I sew it on. Then I sew the halves together. I flip it and put it on the body. Then I sew the shirt to the pants. Now I'm left with swimsuit. I cut out this piece for the boots. I fold it in half, then sew it together. Then I fold it so the seam runs down the middle and sew it down at the bottom. I flip it inside out and put it on. It should run up the leg just under the knee. Then I cut out these bands. These are sewn around the tops of the boots. To finish off the boots, I cut out the soles. Then I sew them to the bottom of the boots. Now I move up to the arms. I cut out the glove. It has this line running up on the outer side. I fold the gloves, then sew them. Then I cut out this piece. I sew it under the arm. Then I connect the arm to the rest of the costume. After that, I sew the upper chest piece to the costume. I sew the top of the back and the full front on. I don't sew the bottom back though. I cut out the cape. Then I pull the back up so I can put the cape under. Then I put it back down. I sew it down all in one. Now she's nearly complete. I just need the logo. I cut out this white circle. Then sew it to the chest. I have this pink fabric marker I'm going to use to draw the logo on. I messed it up really bad. I tried to save it with this fine liner Sharpie, but I don't think I did. Here's what it's supposed to look like. That's it. Atom Eve is finished. She's kind of a mixed bag in my opinion. I think it's harder for me to translate 2D animation characters into 3D form. I do think she was pretty easy to make though. Overall, I like her. That's all for this tutorial. Hopefully you found this video useful in making your own Invincible and Atom Eve. I think you should keep in mind that if yours doesn't look the same as mine, that's fine. If you want, I encourage you to take your own creative liberties with whatever you made if you think it would be better than what I made or done, or just prefer it. I'd also like to show off this Alan the Alien and Omni-Man that I made. I plan on making more Invincible characters like Rexplode, the Mauler Twins, Battle Beast, and I'm sure there'll be others. As always, if you did make your own, I would love to see them. If you'd like to send them to me, I've got my Instagram linked in the description of the video, so you can go send them to me on there. I post a lot of the things that I make on there, so you can check that out to see more of the stuff that I've done. Anyways, have a good day.